Does this shirt look manly enough? Anyway, the Elder Scrolls 6 could be coming out way more sooner than all of us initially thought. Because let's be real, let's look at the situation. Bethesda is absolutely talentless and completely enfeebled. Microsoft is in a constant state of do not redeem. And Xbox Gaming is, well, a lot of people are saying that it's looking up to Xbox Gaming, but trust me, boys, I have looked into this a little bit, and this is a video for another time, but trust me, Xbox Gaming is in the worst situation it has ever been before. I am pretty certain they have absolutely not a single plan currently except just pushing AI on gamers. And I'm sure all of us are gonna obviously love and cherish and appreciate AI in our games that we did not ask AI to be in. Right, boys? Right? Right? I'm sure that's gonna go great. I mean, seriously, if you thought PlayStation's recent actions in the past 4 days of complete anti-consumer practices and embodying you will own nothing and be happy was bad, again, I think Xbox is gonna make that look almost good. It's gonna be bad. But because of the situation, there is a chance that is going to be put a lot of resources into things like the Elder Scrolls 6 and maybe even Fallout 5. Currently, it looks like it's more Elder Scrolls 6 that could get the super swift treatment of we need something out and we need it now. But there's also a chance that Fallout 5 could be made faster than we anticipated.
Are we seeing the Elder Scrolls 6? I think most of the broader gaming community assumes the answer is no, but there still is a little hope in the back of your head that we could see at least a teaser this year, right? Well, I'm here to say that isn't crazy. I think we could see something around the Elder Scrolls 6 and maybe even be playing something this year. Because
this is about the Bethesda showcase that's going to happen soon.
as wild as this may seem, all of the available evidence from past documents and leaks that we have right now is pointing towards a 2026 release date for the Elder Scrolls 6. Like, just check this out. Back in 2022, Todd Howard went on Lex Friedman's podcast and got in depth about Bethesda Game Studios' development timelines.
Where we're sort of at maximum size. We just call that production. That's like the full production period. And that, depending on the game, can run a year, 2 years, maybe more. And then you kind of have a final 6 months to a year on a game, which is, okay, we've built everything now. And usually it needs a lot of glue, where we have a lot of very different elements that maybe aren't clicking together the way you want, outside of the regular polish for levels and features. And we're shaving and gluing and sticking things together so that it's not this schizophrenic game experience that things flow from one into another.
The big takeaway being that once development really kicks off with all hands on deck, like things are right now with the Elder Scrolls 6, Todd Howard says it's roughly 2 years of full production and then 6 months to a year of polish. Back in August,
Bethesda needs probably at least 5 years of polish to make anything not a super buggy mess, by the way. But I believe this for a different reason. Because the reality is, Microsoft's just not gonna let Bethesda dilly-dally literally for 10 years, waste money, burn it in a pile while nothing is being done and they're not making even a single cent. Microsoft's not gonna allow this. Bethesda's not gonna allow to take 10 years to make Elder Scrolls 6 as they most likely wanted. And the reason why this is hard to believe is because of the engine. You see, Elder Scrolls 6, if you do not know, should be built and made on the Creation Engine 3. Currently, Creation Engine 3 does not exist. Currently, we have Starfield's Creation Engine 2, which literally only made one game on it and was a disaster, aka Starfield, which creates a lot of questions and makes this Creation Engine thing look like a bunch of lies, but that's different topic, you see. In any case, if we are gonna see the Elder Scrolls this year, next year, or even just as soon as 2 years after, you need to understand one thing. We already are expecting the Elder Scrolls 6 to be a complete dud. It's gonna be bad, everyone knows it. It's gonna be poor quality writing, it's gonna be poor it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad, and then it's gonna be woke, and everyone pretty much expects this at this point. If you are following anything Bethesda related, Bethesda is not handling anything currently properly. They're just making things worse. Skyrim is currently getting bugs that have not existed for decades because Bethesda doesn't know what they're doing. It's gotten that bad, and you need to understand if we get Elder Scrolls 6 as fast as 3 years, the engine it's going to be made on is not going to work properly because they're going to rush it. Which means not only is the game going to be bad and buggy, the engine itself will not be functional enough to properly run the game. And that's what we're going to get. And if that happens, that's going to be a more massive disaster than the launch of Fallout 76. And I don't need to remind everyone how absolutely monumentally bad that thing was, right?
Of 2023, Pete Hines said the Elder Scrolls 6 was in development, no longer in pre-production, which based off of Todd Howard's very own timeline from 2022, would put us right around 2026 for when the Elder Scrolls 6 would be ready, at least roughly. Right now, the Elder Scrolls 6 would be entering into that glue phase, assuming things line up. And what you'll find is 2026 pops up a lot with the Elder Scrolls 6. It's almost like Bethesda Game Studios was using these same timelines for their own internal estimates. We saw this a bunch during the FTC trial with Microsoft. We have this internal Bethesda roadmap that leaked. We'll talk more about this as several other games from it might finally be popping up at this year's showcase. While many of the release years for these games have been off due to the pandemic and other variables, this roadmap has actually been fairly accurate if you just delay everything 2 years. But notably here,
I want to just mention to everyone, previously the cope was if you delay it by 1 year, everything is good enough. And now we have to delay it by 2 years because, well, reasons. This thing has been pretty much debunked as complete garbage. The timeline completely does not matter.
it had a 3-year gap between Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. So in 2020, when this was made, a 3-year gap still seemed possible to Bethesda. We got this document from Microsoft on their Bethesda acquisitions and games. It was made around late 2022 to early 2023, and it does list the Elder.
Oh, this is actually funny. Redfall, because one of the biggest copes in the gaming industry has been that Redfall was not a Bethesda disaster. Bethesda did not make the game, but they had full 100% overview of how it was made. It was entrusted to a different studio. I don't remember which one. But it was all Bethesda. Bethesda literally made all of the decisions responsible for this game's failure.
Elder Scrolls 6 is dropping in 2026 or later. This has Starfield as a 2023 title, contrasting that other roadmap, so even post-buyout, 3-year gaps between games were somewhat on the table based on their own estimates. And the thing that has always stuck with me, one of the Microsoft lawyers who took the stand said that the Elder Scrolls 16 is expected in 2026. Obviously, that lawyer got the game's entire number wrong, so how much can we really trust that? But my takeaway was always...
Thank God not only Ilya Omar doesn't understand how to pronounce these things.
Is that even as of September of 2023, as this FTC trial was going on, and Microsoft fully owned Bethesda at this point, several people internally at Microsoft, and presumably Bethesda, still viewed 2026 as a possible release year for the Elder Scrolls 6. To them, this didn't seem insane, and this was just weeks after Starfield had released. Like, to me, somebody had to tell this lawyer a date, and that person picked 2026. So okay, all of that is quite
that sounds like roughly Bethesda quality, yes.
hopeful. In a ton of these Elder Scrolls 6 and 2026 posts, you'll find a lot of what I just talked about as evidence. But now, 2.5 years of dev time have gone by since a lot of that happened, so where do things stand now? Well, fortunately, the most recent updates on the Elder Scrolls 6 makes it sound like development has been going very well. The big new thing...
Wait, also, there is a possibility that Bethesda is just lying that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be made on Creation Engine 3. Because you also need to count in the fact that none of these timelines make sense. Bethesda legitimately 10 years ago released the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. Okay, was it actually 10 years ago? probably less. But you need to understand, they released the teaser trailer for it how many years ago? At least 5, I think, at this point, or 6 or something. And it's impossible that they haven't done anything for this. I mean, there's incompetent, but even Bethesda is not that stupid to make a teaser trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 and then literally not even work on it. So, all the timelines that we are looking at are jumbled. The reality is, it is completely feasible that Elder Scrolls 6 drops tomorrow, as in it drops after 10 years, as is the possibility that Elder Scrolls 6 is finished 5 years from now. All of these 3 possibilities somehow are equally likely, which is probably the craziest thing ever.
To get revealed is that the Elder Scrolls 6 will be using Creation Engine 3, and Todd Howard says this engine upgrade went very smoothly.
But the one thing I'd say is really the tech.
But Bethesda admitted that it is not yet finished. Also, what the hell in DEI haven is this, dude? Holy, are we now using... Bruv, come on.
As we're going to Creation Engine 3, again, the team has done a really incredible job at like not just pushing what it is, but how it's integrated into our development cycle. So you don't feel that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, like the game goes down. So we're in a fortunate position where that's a game where, you know, the builds are really consistently working every day.
Todd Howard mentions he would give the team doing the upgrade an
What?
A+, and what makes this more notable is engine upgrade difficulties were cited as one of the things that made Starfield take so long. So the Elder Scrolls 6 will hopefully have a shorter development cycle compared to Starfield as a result of the engine upgrade being more efficient this time around. And of course, the lack of a worldwide pandemic. And even though it just popped up into the talking points
I'm sorry, the Juice had put that as an example of good gameplay or how bad Starfield is.
recently, Creation Engine 3 is a pretty big deal for this game. The only issue is, we don't really know why. This is bringing some tech upgrade to
Oh boy, it's not gonna be good. Also, what the hell is this? There's a small lag. What are we? What's
the
going
engine
on?
that Todd
What's going on?
Howard has been planning for the Elder Scrolls 6 for over a decade now. Some feature required some kind of new tech.
Well, to be absolutely fair, Todd Howard also planned for Starfield more than 2 decades.
Technology that we just didn't have. But you could find him talking about needing this tech all the way back in 2016, and he mentions it several more times in other interviews, how the tech wasn't there yet. But only just recently, Todd Howard told Mortismal Gaming that the tech is finally there for whatever this feature is. And that tech is something
Wait, we watched this. He said that the tech is not ready. What the hell?
around this engine upgrade to Creation Engine 3 specifically. So some kind of feature or mechanic of the Elder Scrolls 6 required a more advanced engine even compared to Starfield. I personally think it could be some kind of crazy view distances like we saw in the supposed leak clip, and maybe better streaming around sailing and loading in big cities and stuff. And that really is the argument for
There's absolutely no way.
a 2026 release. Todd Howard's own timeline and these internal documents all make 2026 seem very possible. It's the only year we have concretely connected to the Elder Scrolls 6, and development of this game has seemingly gone quite well. So why does everyone think this isn't happening this year? Well, also, Todd Howard. Just in November of 2025, he said the Elder Scrolls 6 is still a long ways off, and how he was preaching patience so fans don't feel anxious. Many people took that quote and ran with it, assuming that, okay, if he's saying patience, we're looking at 2028 or later now. And even more recently in some of the interviews, Todd Howard has had a reluctance to even discuss the Elder Scrolls 6, which definitely doesn't make it feel like things are close to release. Although, the counterpoint to that is something similar
Yeah, they have been dodging Elder Scrolls 6 subjects for literally years now.
did kind of happen with Fallout 4. Both Todd Howard and Pete Hines said it'll be a while before they're ready to talk about Fallout 4 in 2014. Fallout 4 was revealed and released the very next year in 2015. So could something similar be happening with the Elder Scrolls 6 right now? Is there reluctance to speak about it because they're actually about to speak about it? I honestly don't know. I think it's totally fair to be optimistic and hopeful for 2026, despite what the broader gaming community will say.
I mean, again, there is a chance. There's always a chance, as they say. Also, Is YouTube getting nuked? Because I'm not downloading anything, and for some reason it's not loading properly. What in the name of SOD is happening currently?
Say, this date has popped up already, but at the same time, with how important The Elder Scrolls 6 is for Bethesda, to me and I think many other people, 2027.
Now, granted, the real reason why there is a chance that Elder Scrolls 6 is not happening this year or next is because GTA 6, obviously. It is the true big 6 number, okay? There is nothing that's gonna be able to stand against it. Elder Scrolls 6, 7, and 8 releasing at the same time would not create as buzz as just another GTA 6 teaser trailer.
Just feels more likely somehow. More time is better, right? And as I'm writing this video, a new X Factor is definitely coming forward, as Asha Sharma is the new Xbox CEO and she is changing things. Part of these plans directly include the Elder Scrolls franchise. She's literally made that clear, and we're seeing talk of exclusives return.
Okay, also, this is news because okay, I'm gonna reveal part of the reason why Xbox is in a horrible position, and that's because Ash Sharma literally has not done a single thing yet. The revamp for achievements on Xbox, not her idea. And that this is, by the way, pretty much corroborated now that she was not the one issuing that. None of the things that currently people are hailing Xbox for are her ideas. She has nothing to do with any of them. This has been speculation. This is currently insiders are talking about it, that, oh no, she actually has not done any of this. This was already pre-planned. And most important of all, just business common logic and sense. These things do not happen in one day. You can't have a new CEO and the first day she's like, okay, I'm going to cancel a bunch of things at random. That doesn't happen. These things have been in the pipeline at least, what, probably 6 months to a year. These things were started under Phil Spencer and the old crew. Asha Sharma is doing nothing. The only thing that's currently happening is a extreme increase of fake posts to boost her image, and that's pretty much it. It is pretty diabolical.
Turning to Xbox, The Elder Scrolls 6 is one of the largest upcoming games for this company. The Elder Scrolls 6 could become a huge factor in the new CEO's plans, and it is very likely that next year is the launch of the new Xbox. So either having The Elder Scrolls 6 as an exclusive launch title, or even alternatively, having The Elder Scrolls 6 come as an exclusive end-of-generation title, and then double dipping on some kind of new generation copy for next gen, could be huge. This is one of those things where we really don't know.
Not happening. Not happening. In any case, there is a chance that Elder Scrolls 6 is happening sooner than we expect, but there's also a chance that it's not happening sooner than we expect. Anyway, that was Juicehead. 10 out of 10. It could happen, it could not happen. Could happen in the middle. Who knows? Bye.